In this video we take a look at how to fix small holes in woolen or knitted fabrics. Stay with me and I'll show you how. I took out some old fabric that I was going to use to make a skirt, and as I opened it up I discovered this. My nice woolen fabric is full of moth holes, and of course it's all down the centre and there's lots of them. But don't worry, it can be fixed. So let's get started. For this you will need some felting wool. I've tried to match it as best I could to the original colour of my fabric, but if you wanted to be fancy you could always use a contrasting colour. I'm also using a felting mat. In this case it's a brush, but you can also use a foam block. And I have a felting needle. You can get single needles or tools like this with multiple needles. This has 7 needles. We take our fabric, finding our hole, and we lay our fabric over the block so that the hole is roughly in the centre. I take a few fibres of my felting wool. The bigger the hole, the larger the piece of wool you're going to need. And I start to pull it apart, bringing the fibres across each other and moulding it into a kind of a circular wad. Keep the fibres relatively loose and bring them into a little circle. We then place our fibres over the hole. We then take our needle and we push it down over the fibres through the fabric. We want to keep our needle at a 90-degree angle to the block to avoid breakage. Keep doing this until the fibres look well meshed with your fabric. When the fibres begin to look well meshed, we pull the fabric from our block. And you can see from the bottom we have some of these fuzzy fibres poking through. So we turn our fabric over, place it back on the block, and we begin to stab down through these fibres so the fibres are meshed on both sides. After we've stabbed it from both sides, we can take it off and have a look. And it might be good enough, but you might need to add some more wool. I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, but there's still a little bit of a hole there. So I'm going to put it back on my pad, and I'm going to add a few more fibres to the hole. And starting the process again, stabbing the fibres from the front and the back. And I keep going until all the holes in my fabric are covered. So I filled in all the holes, and it's still looking a little bit lumpy, and we may still have some long fibres left over. So I'm going to trim off these long fibres. And with my iron on the wool setting, I press over the patches. This helps to set the wool. It binds further with the fabric, and it flattens out the patches. And that's how to repair moth holes with felting wool.